All right, this is chapter 2, lesson 4, the percent equation. Okay, so we've worked with the percent proportion. So you have used the percent proportion to find the missing part, P, percent N, or whole W. You can also use a blank blank. So in these two blanks, you're going to write percent equation. Okay, the percent equation is blank equals blank times blank. So the percent equation is part equals percent times whole. We kind of talked about that a little bit when we were looking at is over of. Okay, remember? So is, same type of thing here. Okay, you can still use those keywords to determine what is a part and what is a whole. Okay? So here we start with the percent proportion. So part over whole equals percent. Remember, percents are always over 100. Okay? I multiply both sides by the whole. So this cancels with this. So I'm left with part equals percent times whole. So that's how I came up with the percent equation. Okay. So same type of thing. So if I wanted to find the percent of something, okay, I can write it out. 3 is what percent? So that's N, right? 3 is what percent of 6? If I'm finding the part, okay, what number is 50% of 6? So P. And then if I'm finding the whole, 3 is 50% of what number, right? So that's my whole. Okay? So let's take a look at some examples. First one I have is, what number is 12% of 250? Okay? So the first thing I want to ask myself is, do I need to find the percent, the part, or the whole? So I'm looking for that keyword is, right? I have number and then is, which means I'm looking for a part. I'm looking for a part. Okay, so I can write my equation. Part equals percent times whole. P equals 0.12. You always have to change the percent to a decimal, okay? 0.12 times 1500. So P, 0.12 times 1500 gives me 18. So P equals 18. So 18 is 12% of 150. You can always double check. You can always plug it back in. So I was looking for a part in this situation. Okay. So the next one says 21 is what percent of 40? Okay, so for this one it says percent, so I know I'm looking for percent. So part equals percent times whole. 21 equals N times 40. Okay, so I divide both sides by 40 because I was multiplying here. So divide both sides by 40. They cancel each other out. Okay. So I divided 40 out. I'm left with N. 21 divided by 40 is 0.525. Okay. I was looking for a percent. So whenever you're finding a percent, you have to multiply by 100. So 21 is 52.5% of 40. So remember to multiply this, your answer, by 100 in order to figure out how to solve it. Okay? Again, you can always double check, go back in, and it should work. Okay? Third problem I have, 13 is 26% of what number? So in this case, I'm looking for a whole. Okay, so part equals percent times whole, because that's what I'm looking for, right? So my part is 13. 26% I change to a decimal, so 0.26 times W. Then I divide both sides by 0.26. 13 divided by 0.26 gives me 50, so 50 equals W. So 13 is 26% of 50, okay? So you can go ahead, you can check it out, all right? Make sure it works, plugging it back in. All right, so everyone should have a blue foldable in their ISN, right? So here's my foldable, okay? So this is just a quick reminder of how to find the percent, right? So remember, part equals percent times whole. 3 is what percent of 6, so 3 equals n times 6. I'm looking for a part, or if I'm looking for a whole. So you can use these to remember just in case you forget. All right, go ahead, try it problems out. Just pause the video. When you are done, we will go over the answers together. All right, now that you've tried the try it problems on your own, let's go over the answers together. The first one says write an equation, then solve. Okay? What is 66% of 200? So am I looking for a part, percent, or a whole? So I'm looking for a part. It says what is. Okay? So I'm looking for a part. So I'm going to come over here to my workstation. Zoom out a little bit so it's a little bit easier to see. Okay. So it says, what is 6% of 200? So part equals my percent. 6% changes to 0.06. Of means multiply 200. Okay, so I just multiply. 0.06 times 200 is 12. So P equals 12. So my equation was P equals 0.06 times 200. And P equals 12. So 12 is 6% of 200. Okay. The second one I'm looking at says write an equation, then solve. What percent of 40 is 9? So I'm looking for a percent. Okay. So I have is, that's my part. So remember, part equals percent times whole. So I have 9 equals my percent times my whole value, which is 40. So I have 9 equals 40n. Divide both sides by 40. 9 divided by 40 is 0.225. Okay, remember I'm looking for percent, so I need to multiply it by 100. So 0.225 times 100 is 22.5%. Okay, so the equation I came up with was 9 equals n times 40. N equals 22.5%. So 40 is 22.5% of 9. Okay. The third one says write an equation and then solve. 39 is 84% of what number? So I'm looking for a whole. $39 is 84% of what number? Okay. So remember, part equals percent times whole. So my part is 39. 84% becomes 0.84 times my whole. Divide both sides by 0.84. 39 divided by 0.84 gives me approximately 46.43, which equals W. Okay. I just rounded to 2 decimal places because you get a really long number. So my equation was 39 equals 0.84 times W. W equals 46.43. So 39 is 84% of 46.43. Okay. And that is the end of lesson 4.